the Denver Broncos just received a triple dose of good news. And Broncos country, this time we're not talking about meaningless preseason chatter. This is about the regular season, the real battles ahead. Let's dive into the first 3 games of Denver's journey. Starting with Week 1 at Mile High, the Broncos face the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans' rookie quarterback, Cam Ward, has been nothing short of shaky. His preseason numbers are rough, under 50% completion rate, barely over 100 yards passing, and worse, he's been clashing with his own teammates. Reports out of Tennessee say Ward got into a full-on fight with defensive star Jeffrey Simmons at practice. That is not the kind of preparation you want heading into your NFL debut, especially when your very first game is at altitude against Denver in front of one of the loudest and most passionate fan bases in football. This is the first spark of good news for the Broncos. The Titans are walking into Mile High with a rookie quarterback who looks anything but ready for the storm awaiting him in Denver. You never want to see your rookie quarterback starting fights in camp. Sure, it shows a little bit of toughness, but there's a fine line between fire and foolishness. Cam Ward is trying to take charge, but the truth is, he's still a rookie, and in a locker room filled with seasoned veterans, that's a dangerous game to play. What stands out even more is his mechanics. Coming out of Miami, there was talk about his raw talent and unique style, but watching him in action tells a different story. His throwing motion is sloppy, his wind-up exaggerated, and when he's on the move, his elbow flares out so wide it kills both accuracy and timing. These aren't just minor quirks, they're fundamental flaws. And if the Titans are putting their season on the shoulders of a rookie quarterback with broken mechanics, Denver's defense has every reason to be licking its chops heading into Week 1. That kind of sloppy motion is going to lead to nothing but inaccuracy. Quarterbacks are taught from a young age, when you're throwing on the run, keep your mechanics tight. But Cam Ward's elbow flares so wide it looks like a pitcher winding up on the mound. That's not creativity, that's a flaw. And the question is, why isn't Tennessee fixing this? Head coach Brian Callahan has to see the same thing on film. Sure, Ward has arm talent, and yes, he can throw from different angles, but when you're missing fundamentals on a clean rollout with no pressure in your face, it's a red flag. Now here's why this matters for Denver. Ward's first NFL game is coming inside Empower Field at Mile High. CBS Sports ranked it one of the toughest stadiums in football, the altitude, the noise, the relentless energy of Broncos country. For a rookie quarterback with shaky mechanics, it's a nightmare waiting to happen. That's why I've got Denver taking Week 1. The Broncos' defense will be ready, the crowd will be electric, and the Titans' young quarterback is walking into a storm he can't control. And that's just the first piece of good news. Let's move to the second. This one comes straight out of the AFC, and it could have massive implications for Denver. Now let's move to the second piece of good news for Denver, and this one comes straight from Indianapolis. The Colts have officially named Daniel Jones their starting quarterback for Week 1 against the Miami Dolphins. Honestly, this decision speaks volumes about just how shaky the quarterback room really is. Anthony Richardson still looks raw, inconsistent, and wildly inaccurate. He's got athletic ability, sure, but he couldn't even lock down the starting job. Instead, the Colts are turning to Daniel Jones, a quarterback who's been the very definition of average throughout his career, yet was somehow paid like a franchise star. For Broncos country, this matters. Why? Because the Colts are one of the AFC teams Denver will be battling with for playoff positioning later this season. And if Indianapolis is leaning on Daniel Jones to carry them, it only makes Denver's road a little bit easier. Daniel Jones may be the Colts starter, but he's nothing for the Broncos to fear. Denver's defense, anchored by its relentless pass rush and the new no-fly zone 2.0 with Pat Surtain II, Riley Moss, and Jaquan McMillian, is built to make life miserable for quarterbacks like Jones. Surtain will likely shadow Michael Pittman Jr., leaving Jones with even fewer options in a passing game that already lacks reliable weapons. And when the blitz packages start flying at him, it's hard to imagine Jones finding any kind of rhythm. As for Anthony Richardson, the numbers speak for themselves, a 47.7% completion rate last year. That's beyond inaccurate, that's unplayable. For a team that invested so much hope in him, it's already shaping up to be a nightmare. That's why Week 2, when the Broncos head to Indianapolis, looks like one of the easiest wins on the schedule. Outside of major injuries, Denver should roll through the Colts and start this season a confident 2-0. The third opponent on Denver's schedule is a tougher challenge, the Los Angeles Chargers. Under Jim Harbaugh, they look far more disciplined and dangerous. But one major development swings in the Broncos' favor. Star left tackle Rashawn Slater is out for the season with a torn patellar tendon. You never want to see a great player go down, and Slater is one of the very best, ranked as the third best tackle in the NFL. But his loss is devastating for the Chargers' offensive line and for Justin Herbert, who now has to trust a reshuffled unit to protect him. In Slater's place, Los Angeles will turn to rookie Joe Alt, their first-round pick out of Notre Dame. While Alt is talented and has experience at the position, he's no Slater. And against Denver's aggressive pass rush, that's a glaring mismatch. This injury changes the landscape of the Week 3 matchup. The Chargers will still be a test, but without their anchor on the blind side, Herbert could be under siege in Mile High. With Slater sidelined, Joe Alt shifts to left tackle, but that leaves the right side exposed. Trey Pipkins steps in, and while he's serviceable, he's nowhere near elite. That means Denver's pass rush will have opportunities coming from both edges, putting constant pressure on Justin Herbert. Losing a top 3 left tackle is one of the most devastating blows an NFL offense can take. And while we wish Slater a full and speedy recovery, the reality is this: the Chargers' offensive line just isn't the same without him. That's why I believe Denver can go into Los Angeles and take that game. When the schedule was first released, I predicted the Broncos would fall short in Week 3. But now, the tide has turned. With the way this roster is shaping up, and with the Chargers reeling up front, a 3-0 start for the Broncos suddenly feels very real. Broncos country, imagine it. A clean sweep to open the season, momentum building, and a message sent to the entire NFL. This team is not to be underestimated.